I find that a lot of feminine energy dating content is not very specific to place, which isn't that helpful since I would love to know in my area specifically how to go about feminine energy. This is a unique area. There's a lot of people who are non-binary. There are a lot of people who are otherwise gender non-conforming. How does that work when we so easily mix up being in our feminine energy with presenting as female, even though those are completely different things? Will someone mistake you wanting to be in their masculine for you confining them to very rigid gender roles? I would say it's not the case. I would say that both men and also people raised as male don't put in as much effort as they should, and they unconsciously will expect women to do things. They think they're woke, they think that they are breaking norms, and they haven't figured out all the ways they're still not stepping up to the plate. The mental load is a common one of those. But what do we do about walking dates? I think the idea of no walking dates actually makes an assumption that walking is not a fun thing that is very common in your area. I know there's other places that have unpleasant weather, and you wouldn't ever want to be outside either in an unheated or an unair conditioned place. I was just in New York this summer, first time I'd ever been in New York in August, and it was humid outside. In Seattle, it's not humid. It's not something I'm used to, and it was unpleasant to be outside. And yet also it's a place where people do a whole lot of walking, and a whole lot of walking for fun also, even though for some people it wouldn't be pleasant weather. Now, it also makes another assumption: is a walking date by definition a date where they are putting in low effort, they are not investing in you, they are not valuing you, they are not seeing you as a wife material, they are just spinning the wheel and using you as a placeholder until they find a woman they actually want to invest in? Well, here's something interesting. So where I'm at in Seattle, we really believe that we are people who love the outdoors. And so here, it might be different. Here, it seems to be there are people that will tell you they love hiking, as one of the many things they tell you when they're first getting to know you, and they don't follow through. And it can actually be the exact opposite, that a man can possibly not take you on enough walking dates. Now, I don't have a car, and there are so many amazing hikes that are very close to Seattle, but you need a car to get there. And so, if I have a boyfriend or a husband or another gendered partner that has a car, makes sense that they would take me hiking. It's something they can do for me. And aren't walking dates supposed to be the cheapest, laziest option? Well, that just does not seem to be the case, because I am personally dissatisfied with how many hikes all my partners have ever taken me on. Now, one thing we remember with feminine energy is that we don't try to get everything just through our man. We have our intentions. We try to get what we want out of life. If it comes through our man, that sounds great. If it doesn't, that's also just fine. There was one time that I actually called up my husband's female friends to take us on a walk that you could get to easily by bus, but there just was not enough time in the winter to get there by bus after my daughter was let out of school and before the sun would set, because the sun sets pretty early in the winter here. And we went on that walk, and then later on, I guess because he had the idea, then my husband invited all of us to go on that same walk. I didn't do it with the intention of, oh, well, I'm just gonna go on a walk with his other friend and then he'll go on a walk with me. You don't want to do that. That puts you in your chasing energy. And when you are in chasing energy, that will cause him to put out even less effort for you. But all the same, that happened. Very strange. And, that probably goes back to social status. A man wants to be seen as a particular identity and position in whatever community you're in. And, he wouldn't want his friends to think that his wife will go on walks with her, but not him. And we need to remember this also, that, when they tell us they want to go hiking with us, it's an easy thing to say for status, especially if other people are around. It doesn't count unless they actually follow through. And here's another little strange thing. So I'm not as safe as some people as far as not getting into cars as quickly in a relationship, or not getting into cars too quickly for the safety early on in my relationship. But as someone who doesn't have a car, I have seen some pretty weird behaviors with people being pretty controlling and wanting to have you take a ride even when you don't want to take a ride. And sometimes that's something I've actually worked on in my feminine energy journey, where, when I really don't want to take a ride, sometimes I will accept it because, again, very frustrating when people, when you tell someone no, they hear it as, oh, you don't want anything from me. They don't hear it as, oh, I don't want a ride, but you can help me in all these other ways. That's not what they hear. And this is not conscious to them. So unfortunately, if you are wanting to receive a lot from this person, you're going to have to say yes to some things that you don't want. Not to put you in danger, not to put you in a car that you shouldn't be getting into because it's not safe. I've had to work on that lesson in the opposite way also, not feeling pressured to get into cars